Welcome to the Interreg I-Know programme of modules relating to business concepts. It's particularly useful for those new to business. This is Seminar 7.7, 10 topics which are very important and useful for Q&A sessions, but they're things that you need to be aware of. The key concept relating to pitching and fundraising is illustrated by our figure that we term the shape of business finance. It's very straightforward, and we found that it applies equally well to hundreds of different business types. Plotting a simple graph using cash at the bank from the cash flow forecast over time gives a figure as depicted for any new business. Now, business funding is required to cover the early stage when more cash is going out than coming in. The key question to ask is how much money is needed and for how long does the shortfall exist? Key concept 2, the funding options. There are three main ways to raise business finance apart from sales revenue. Grant funding does not need to be repaid. Debt finance, a loan that has to be repaid. Equity finance, where an investor buys shares. Each of the choices can cover initial funding needs or be used as part of a larger funding strategy with multiple later rounds of business financing. Key concept 3, grant funding. Grant funding schemes can be aimed at new business or at established businesses. New business schemes will usually require you to complete an application form and provide a business plan, see module 5.2 in this series, to include milestones of progress you expect to achieve. A cash flow forecast, see module 5.5 in this series, that shows you how the money will be spent. You may be asked for a profit and loss and a balance sheet from your accountant. You may be asked to attend for an interview, but it is less common to be asked to make a pitch unless you are competing against other businesses for limited funding. Key concept 4, debt finance. Raising debt from bankers will require you to show that your business will be able to repay any loan. Overall, banks do not take much of a risk in their attitude to business loans and want to know that you're generating enough profit from trading revenue to repay the loan, and or that you are willing to use assets, including personal ones such as your home, to secure any loan. Always remember that debt has to be repaid with any interest to be charged. Equity finance. Equity finance is a way of raising cash for the business by selling new shares, which of course is only possible with a private limited company. The founders do not sell their own shares, rather, investors buy new shares issued by the company and become owners alongside the founders, with ownership proportionate to the number of shares held. It is only possible to attract investors when the business has great potential for growth and has an exit strategy for later sale of those shares. Key concept 6, the 2-minute pitch. Now, the 2-minute pitch is normally given without an accompanying presentation. This means that you need to script in advance what you plan to say and focus on delivering the 10 most important key messages. It is a good idea to have an accompanying brochure to hand that captures the key messages you wish to convey. Refer back to module 2.3 for more information about the brochure. Key concept 7, the 10-minute presentation. We recommend that anyone unfamiliar with making a presentation to seek finance builds a simple 10-minute presentation around the core model that we believe sits at the heart of business activities. So, if you work through the model, remember that the 10 components, the 10 slides, really sit in the middle, and there's a start and an end slide. And number 11 relates to the ask. What are you asking for? What is the funding you're asking for? As you can see there, it starts with the problem and the solution, the benefits, the enterprise, the customers, the 4 key questions. Can the enterprise deliver? Does market research evidence exist to indicate that customers want the solution? Do customers perceive value? And will you expect to make a profit? And then slide 11, the ask. What is it that you're asking for? The loan, the grant perhaps, or the equity finance. Key concept 8 is how we would structure a 20-minute presentation. Remember, this is a guide. Things can vary, but we believe that this sequence of 20 slides helps narrate a story. Number 1, the title slide. Then we move to introduction, technology review, intellectual property, market description. We look at target products, competitor analysis, commercial strategy, market potential. Then we move into the R&D management team and we start to look forward. What do we have to do? Number 11, R&D plan summaries. And then what is the way we're going to do that? The overall operating plan and the key milestones. And then what do we need? Number 14, the resource requirements. 15, financial analysis. 16, investment sort. 17, share issue this round. 18, future funding needs. And 19, the likely exit strategy. With 20, simply asking if there are any questions. We found this sequence to work very well in a 20-minute presentation to business angel investors. Key concept 9, successful pitch factors. We've noticed over the years that high-tech, high-growth companies often have too great a focus on the high-tech and not on its commercial potential. Please remember, and we'll repeat again, that investors are interested in the high-growth component. It is often said that investors will support a great management team with a good idea and yet not support a mediocre team with even a great idea. The plan needs to be straightforward and its proposed delivery needs to generate confidence so that the investor wants to become an owner, actually become part of the team. Key concept 10 is your Q&A preparation. Expect one after almost any kind of funding presentation. And remember that our research shows questions come up again and again in 5 key areas: management, intellectual property, business opportunity, funding and cash flow, and the external environment. Refer to module 5.6 for the 25 questions, that's 5 in each of those sections, that every business plan should address, and develop your own answers accordingly. That's the end of this presentation, and we thank you for your attention.